Reminder. There you go. Thank goodness for teamwork, guys. So I appreciate you asking that question because I promised some people that I would be recording this, but it will stay in the brand partner group as well. So we're going to have it in a couple different locations. So we should be good to go. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we're going to kick this off tonight. And so hold on. Trying to manage the waiting room as well. Maybe Summer, you wouldn't mind helping me with that also. That'd be wonderful. So we are here to go through EchoHub with you, our strategy basics, and we're going to be walking you through how to use this program and how to make the content. But before we get started, I want to make a little reminder here. Because sometimes when we're working in social media, we can get a little sideways because we don't realize what our goal is. So I'm going to tell you my goal. My goal is to make $1 billion with PartnerCo. I am not here to make money on Facebook. I'm not here to become an influencer. And sometimes if we get a little bit distracted where we think we have to make the best posts and they've got to be long and emotional and drawn out and all these things because I'm really trying to just be the best of the best, it could take you 12 hours to work through your items, right? Because you're thinking that you need to be an influencer. But when we realize that no, 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 no. All we need to do is make our system of growth posts, get those up twice a day. Add in the ingredients from EchoHub in order to grow our engagement, which is going to allow us to interact with new people every single day, which is what that's going to do. It's going to grow our business. So if we realize what our goal is here is not necessarily to be an influencer, it is to be a network marketer with PartnerCo and to share our products, then that can help us from getting a little bit sideways in what we're doing. Because if we looked at this list, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's 10 things I have to do here, and I have to do 10 things perfectly. I could spend all day long to do this. But I'm going to tell you that this should not, all of it combined, should not be taking you more than maybe 40 minutes of your day. And that's if you're really taking maybe 20, 25 minutes to engage with your network. So that's going to be the biggest chunk of time if you're doing this properly, is going to be engaging with your network. The rest of it, it's going to be fast if you realize and have your priorities right. So what is our daily workflow? What are the ingredients? And you'll see on here that we've got some brownies, right? And why do I have a picture of brownies other than to torture myself? Because I am hungry right now and they look extra good at this moment. But I want you guys to imagine a bake sale. Okay, so Carrie, you and I, we're both in a bake sale and we're competing. Okay, I don't know what kind of bake sale it is that we're competing, but we are. And I go to Whole Foods because I think I'm bougie. Okay, so I go to Whole Foods and I get all the organic ingredients and I mix it all together and I just leave out one thing, the sugar, right? And mine are garbage. Because if you made brownies without sugar, they would be gross, right? Now you go, you're smarter than me. You run to the local Piggly Wiggly and you grab a couple of boxes of the box mix. I mean, they're the store brand, nothing fancy. But guess what? You include all of the ingredients. You add your eggs and your cup of water or whatever it is. Yours are delicious. And it's the same with this. It's better to do it bad than worry about doing it perfectly. Done is better than perfect. Just do each of the items. And we're going to go through what these items are. But the number one question that we get is what in the world do I post about? Like what is Andrea supposed to talk about when I lead a relatively dull life? I like it. I think it's great, but I don't do a whole lot of things. So what in the world can I post about on there? Well, we've got to kind of figure out who we are. And Summer is really great at explaining this. So if she's open to unmuting and jumping in here and helping us of talking a little bit about, how do we figure out who we are and what we can post about on social media?
So, Andrea, I love that she calls herself crunchy because I think it fits her perfect personality perfectly. But like each one of us has something or multiple things that interest us. And so you really have to build your brand about what excites you. Okay. Obviously, we have Partner Co. We love the products, we love the business. We can always market that through our social media. Um, it's either going to come product or money wise or both. And most of you that are here are doing both at this point. Our next category that she's got on there is hobbies. So all of us have a hobby, whether we admit it or not, that we can share about. Andrea's got travel, outdoors, fitness, cooking. So for me, very similar. I love to travel. I like trying new recipes. I like to DIY stuff for some strange reason. So those are things I'm going to share through my social media. I haven't even shared today that half of my Halloween decorations collapsed. I didn't even take a picture because I wanted to cry. But those are things people are following me for. The next thing is your passion. So Andrea and I are both mothers. She talks about her homeschooling journey. For me, I threw up pictures like today. I went up to school to drop off something, and we all end up in the hall at the same time. Cutest little thing ever. I got to take pictures with my kids. People know that I love my children with every fiber of my being, and most women can relate to that. So it's something that will draw them into my world and make them feel the realness of me. Um, Outside of that, a lot of people focus on their faith. Some people like to focus on baking. I've got people on my team that are really into the baking. And then we have spaces of interest. So Andrea does an excellent job teaching people how to read properly, like how to take books in. Most people just think you read a book, but there's more to it than that. I educate people on like self development and growth outside of that, the journey of learning throughout whatever thing I've gone through in my life. I love the DIY, the before and after. People just want to know you're real because here's the deal, we have our boards, but we have to have something outside of boards to draw them into our world. And I tell everybody, you've got a tribe that's just like you, whether that's scary or exciting. There is a group of people just like you out there. They have the same interests, they have similar personalities. But what we don't want is them coming to your news feed and seeing drop, 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 drop. So you've got to put your real face on there so it doesn't look like an artificial account, I guess, so to speak.
Perfect. So the first thing that we're going to post is a call to action. That's the first activity that is going to show on your little daily workflow that we have in EchoHub. And so sometimes we can really overcomplicate this, right? Like it could be something so phenomenal. You write this big thing and you ask people to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, how they decorate their home. I don't know, something fancy. It can be something really simple. Like ones that I saw recently that had a ton of engagement was when do you decorate for Christmas? Right? Are you November 1st? Or do you wait until after Thanksgiving? And people want to answer that question. So you've got to think about this of when you're scrolling Facebook, what stops you and makes you want to answer somebody? And there's ridiculous ones. Like if anybody asks me what temperature I have my thermostat, I want to tell you. I don't know why I want to tell you, but I do. And that is our goal. We want to ask people to engage with us, but this is not necessarily going to be about the business or the product except for one time a week because we're taking 6 days to train people a week to interact with us. What's your favorite time of the day? Are you a sunrise person? Or are you a sunset person? What's your favorite season? Do you want it to be cold or do you want to go somewhere hot when you go on vacation? Mountains, ocean, I don't care, right? But we're trying to get them to interact with us so they get into kind of that muscle memory that when Summer asks me a question, I want to play along. So that once a week, when I put out a specific system of growth post that asks people to interact with it, that they do because they've gotten into that habit. If I put out a business post that I'm asking people if they want some extra income and they're going to interact with me, well, they want to interact with me because they've been trained in that space.
Yes. All right. So creating a reel. I feel like this is probably the one that's most intimidating to people because they think, oh, I don't know how to make a reel or I don't know what to put on a reel. They feel like, Andrea, I don't have anything interesting. Guys, one of my favorite things I see Andrea and Brent doing all the time is they literally video their laptop or their tablet while we're on a Zoom. And they use that as the reel. They just throw it up in there. Guys, the reel doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that you put in there. You can Google, you can YouTube search how to make a reel. You can ask Chat GPT, all these things. It's going to explain to you how to make a reel. But one of the things that Andrea always points out is you can post pictures. So if I posted 2 or 3 pictures of me and my boys, because we do car line selfies, and I post, and maybe there's 3 of them, it's going to ask me at the end, do I want to make a reel? All you got to do is click yes. It's going to do it for you. You can click a sound, put it on there. Um, I would obviously pick a sound that somewhat matches it, whatever your mood is. I wouldn't put Christmas music to, okay, well, maybe that's not a good example. I have Halloween decorations for Christmas, but I wouldn't put Christmas music on a Valentine's Day reel. Okay. So be kind of smart in how you're branding your music and look for trendy stuff like popular stuff that sounds good with what you're doing because it's only going to help it go further throughout the algorithm of Facebook.
Beautiful. So next is the educate post. And again, sometimes people can get a little sideways on this because they think that they've got to be an expert. We don't have to be an expert, okay? We just have to have something to share. So maybe you are phenomenal at cooking and you're like Mary Catherine and you know how to meal prep or, create these amazing muffins that are on plan, whatever. Well, go share a recipe of the day, right? That's an educate post. The best book that you read this year. Well, you know what? You can even cheat. So you can go Google, give me an outline of this book, and it will write something up for you. So you don't even have to come up with it yourself if you don't want to. How to get your dog to sit, I don't know, but you can use different tools to help you. And Summer already talked about this one, and I think this is a pretty decent example of. Sometimes it can feel intimidating to come in acting like I can teach people something. But guess what I can do? I can learn with you. So she talked about that I put a post out on how to read a book. Well, you know why I came up with that? I'm reading a book that's too hard for me. It's above my IQ. I am struggling with it. I counted today. I have 68 pages left. It may kill me, okay? But what I did is I looked up how do you read a book that's above your like pay level, right? How do I read this book and how do I get the most value out of it? Well, I looked it up so that I could get value out of this book that I want to read. And then guess what? I shared the tips that I got. So I said, I'm reading a book that's too hard for me. Here's what I'm doing to get value out of it. So we don't necessarily have to act like we know everything. We can learn with our audience. We just share what we're learning.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So next up is engaging with your network. So this and one other thing we'll cover are going to be your 2 most important things to really boost your reach. So here's the deal. You have a list of friends, whether it's 200 or 2,000, it doesn't matter, or maybe way more. Only a small demographic of that is even remotely seeing anything you post. And so you need to mix up who's seeing your post. And how are you going to do that? You're going to go love on their post. Just like we boost each other's posts in Partner Co. You're going to go find the old friend from high school. You're going to look at their feed and see something and comment genuinely. So I would not comment on something from 6 years ago that's going to come across a little stalkerish, maybe a little creepy. So find something more recent, have a comment ready to go. And if you can ask a question, you're going to get more engagement back. Now, the easiest way, which me and Andrea really have to give BP the credit for this, is you literally just go to your friends list on your Facebook. So you click friends list at the bottom. It's going to take you over to your friends, and then you're going to click on, whoops, I got my PowerPoint up over here. Then you're going to click on your friends on the right side, and it's going to pull up your friends list. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click the sort button. And I always go to oldest friends first because those are going to be the least likely ones that are seeing my content. The people that I'm seeing in my news feed are the people who are seeing my news feed. Okay. So what I'm putting out there is in theirs, and what they're putting out is showing up in mine. So if you just keep seeing Partner Co's people because you're boosting Facebook posts for drops, that's all that's seeing your post. So you really have to work to get outside of that. Number one. Number two, it can be a total stranger, and this is what's going to start the relationship. There's a local realtor, I don't know, 20 minutes up the road, and she is hilarious, like my cup of tea. I go in, laugh at her stuff all the time. I really think we would be best friends if we met in person. And she actually traveled all the way up into the Carolinas or Virginia. And I'm like, girl, you're out of town. Like, we're having legit conversations. Have I told her about Partner Co? No. But you know what? I know she's seeing my drop post. And eventually, after I develop enough of a rapport with her, I can ask her about drops, or she may end up asking me. But if I'm not interacting with new faces, I'm not getting my stuff in front of those new faces. So this is huge for expanding your network.
Yes, that Summer said it. This is really one of the most important components of EchoHub. Yes, we want every single ingredient, but this is where you're going to spend a good chunk of your time in here. So she already hit on it. If you see people in your news feed, are the people that are seeing you. So you've got to get outside of your news feed. So search that friends list, and guess what? I'm going to go even deeper. Let's say that they have not posted in the last 6 weeks. If they are not somebody that you are connected to in life and you have a reason to be friends with them, you went to high school with them and you love them, or it's your aunt or whatever, I'm going to suggest you unfriend them. Why? Because as Summer said, only about 1% of your friends, of your connections on social media are going to see your posts. So what if that 1% is somebody that's never on social media? Then you're wasting that percentage. It's going out to people that are never going to see your drop posts. So the next thing is the entertain post. And this can be anything. You don't have to worry. Like, not all of us are naturally funny like Summer is. So she does really funny stuff. I copy from Pinterest. Okay. I'll tell you that I'm not super, I think I'm funny. The world doesn't necessarily
I
think I'm
think you're
funny.
funny, Andrea.
Thank you, Summer. Thank you. But we can steal this. Okay. So I'll tell you my grand strategy with this. I go to Pinterest and I say Wednesday funny meme. Thursday, funny meme. This is high tech, guys. So you can do that. You can go if you see something funny that maybe, you see a post that Summer made and you're like, "Oh, that's a good one," right? You had one today, I cracked up. I don't remember what it was, but it was funny. So if I'm like, "Ooh, I like this," well, I'm gonna save that to my phone. If it's a picture, I can just click on it. I can save it on my phone. I might not post it today, but I can keep it and I can share that in the future. If you see a reel, and this could be anything that makes you feel a big feeling. So right now, the holidays, all of that, you might feel some nostalgia. My daughter always sends me reels that make me cry because she thinks it's funny. And they're always like, "I love my mommy." And I'm like, "Oh, my baby girl." So anything that makes you feel a big feeling, steal it. Don't share it. Because if I see a funny that Mark made, like, I love you, Mark, and I want to boost you. But if you make a funny and I click the share button on your post, well, guess what Facebook says? Facebook says, "Oh, that Mark, he's funny." And they're going to take all of my connections and they're going to skip over me and they're going to push them over to Mark. So when you hit share on somebody else's content, you're actually dropping your algorithm. So if you find a reel and you want it, you're going to have to figure out how to steal it. There are apps out there, Friendly is one of them. You're going to have to Google how to use it. There's different apps that can help you steal the content and then you're going to post it and make it your own. So anything like that. And another thing that I do all the time is I ask Facebook what's funny. I use the little magnifying glass and I say funny memes. And you know what? Facebook serves things. And if it makes me laugh, well, then that's what I share.
That's my favorite part. People love to laugh, guys. Okay, motivation post. Honestly, we don't get enough of this in life in general. So if you can help motivate somebody or brighten their day, this is huge. It can be scripture, it can be from something you're reading, it can be a reel that's motivational. Like, there is so much content out there when it comes to motivation. And it can be simply a quote you like that you just put on a color block and just get consistent with that. I did that for a long time and it really got a lot of traction on my Facebook, a lot more than I would have expected. So you can steal it off Pinterest, you can steal it off somebody else's page, however you find it, but just share something to motivate somebody else.
Love it. Sorry, I was trying to answer the question in the chat. I can't grab it right now, so I'll get it to you. I'll get you the link. So the next is posting in your stories. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. Okay. So you could do it where it's a day in the life, where anytime you're out and about, you shoot a little picture, you throw it up there. You can put other content, like maybe you take Renew every night before bed and you want to take a little video of it. Well, then you can share that in your story because it's something that's going to go away. So it won't really be a distraction from the drops, your puppy, whatever, right? So you can just grab different things than what you post on your wall and throw them up in your story, and they're going to go away really quickly. Or you could be a little boring, like me. And what I do is if I post it on my wall, well, then I share it in my story. And so then that way it kind of counts in two spaces because I'm sharing it into my story.
Okay, next up is your other important one. I don't know how I got both the important ones. Um, but it's going to be sharing content into groups. Okay, so most of you think the only groups we're in are like Partner Co Nation and Level Up Life. And okay, no, there are millions of groups on Facebook. And honestly, I have even been surprised since Echo Hub has shown up at the people on my team telling me the groups they're going and joining. I'm like, I never thought of that. But you're going to cater these groups to your pillars of interest, and you're going to share something from your wall into one of your groups. You're going to do multiple ones, but like if you're sharing a baking post from your wall into a baking group, you're going to hit the share button on the post. You're not going to post it organically into the group. Why? Because if I share from my page over into that group, they are more likely to come follow me. So there's one side of it. The second thing is make sure your content you're sharing from your wall, you don't just grab, I'm trying to think something. I shared the Halloween decorating post, but I shared it into funny meme posts and mom groups, the things we do for our children. I didn't go post me decorating for Halloween kind of outside the box into a baking group. Like that wouldn't make sense. So make sure your content pertains. And honestly, people have come and followed me because I decorate with Jack Skellington for Christmas. So there's some other weirdos out there that seem to enjoy off the wall stuff, but those people are going to come follow you. Share your recipe, healthy recipe into a healthy recipe group. They'll come follow you if it's a good recipe. Don't share one that's gross. They're probably not going to follow you, but there are really, really powerful ways to draw those eyes much quicker than going out and trying to scroll and add friends nonstop.
Yes. So with this, you're going to join groups. So that's something that you want to do. So when you think about those four areas, go join crazy amounts of groups, 20, maybe even 40 groups in each of those areas, because you want to be posting in different spaces every day. And some groups you're going to find that they don't take your posts. Now, what are we not sharing in here besides weird stuff, right? That doesn't align. We're not sharing our drop posts here. We're not trying to sell drops to these people. We're trying to gain followers. So we're bringing value into these groups so that we're not marked as spam. If you go put your drops post in there, they're not going to post it or they're going to mark you as spam. Now, the last thing that we're going to do with the EchoHub, and this is probably my favorite. This has nothing to do with the algorithm, okay? This has everything to do with love. So go find somebody today and love on them, right? Go love on somebody on your team. So this could be your upline, this could be your downline, this could be crossline, this could be corporate. Those are kind of one of my favorite people or some of my favorite people, easy for me to say, that I go love on because I'm like, you know what? What does customer service get from me every day? Complaints. This isn't working, that isn't working. Help me, help me, help me. What if I once a week send them a little bit of love, right? So this is just building culture within the team and we get a coin for it. So it's a way that we get rewarded for just loving on people. So we all can improve, okay? As we've said, done is better than perfect. But let's say you get into the groove of it and you're like, I've got this down. I'm getting all my posts up. It's taking me very little time. I feel fantastic and I want to take it to the next level. I want to improve my content a little bit. Well, first of all, there's videos on every single item. Make sure you're watching those. I would recommend watch them before you post any post. Okay. They're 30 seconds, like the longest one's 30 seconds. Okay. So we can watch them each time. We all have 30 seconds. And then under the training section, there's creating content to build authority. You can go watch that training and it's going to help us level up our content. But I wouldn't worry about that until you're really comfortable with what you're creating already. And again, this just the last little reminder that we are here to grow a business, not become influencers. So if we remember that, it can allow us to speed up a little bit and not be so worried about creating the perfect post, because that's not what matters. It's getting all the ingredients in so that more eyeballs see our system of growth posts. So if you have a tech question, we have EchoHub support. Like, I love tech. I can't help you with tech. I wish I could. So grab a screenshot. If you're having a technical issue, these folks will help you. This folk would love to, but I can't. So just grab a screenshot for this one. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share here. And then if anybody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Maybe. I think so.